what's going on, guys? GB back here, and today the view looks a little bit different. I'm just over here. I'm just sitting at my desk, and today we're going to be taking apart this airbrush here and basically showing you how it works. So this is a little Dio for Iwata airbrush. This releases the air, and then this releases the amount of paint. You can kind of tell here, if you see that needle, how it moves back and forward. Let's see how close I can get to it. Right there, it's the very end of it. You can see that needle, how that's moving back and forth. The needle basically blocks it off and controls how much paint gets released from the airbrush. So basically I'm going to take this apart and show you guys how it works. So as from the side right now, I have a tube here, and I'm going to connect it to an air compressor over here. I have an air compressor right here, and after that I'm going to connect it to my airbrush. Connected, and now I'm going to connect to the airbrush right at the bottom here. Alright, all set up, and I'm going to turn on the compressor. We're at about 60 psi. Oh, geez. So yeah, it works. If you can see here, the air isn't actually, I'm going to release all the pressure. Alright, so if you can see here, the air doesn't actually come out of where the needle is. It actually comes out of a little tiny hole at the bottom. Can't really see it from here, but there's a little tiny hole that it comes out of. But for now, I'm just going to disconnect it from the air line. I'm going to take the back. I'm going to actually take this off first. So this is where you put your paint. So this is 2 pieces. I'm going to set it here. After that, I'm going to take this back piece off, which is where you adjust the needle. So this is just where the needle is, so it shows you how much, it basically controls how much paint comes out when you just push down the button. This would just, like, if it was way back here, you just push down the button without sliding it back at all. It would release, like, as much paint as possible. This needle here, I don't know if you can really tell, but it is... Can't get the camera to focus on it. Okay, it's kind of finicky here, so I'm just gonna see if I can get it to focus like that. There you go. It's very, very pointy, and also very easy to bend. So if you're doing this, make sure you're very careful with the needle to not bend it at all, or else it'll affect the paint. Well, not the paint itself; it'll just affect how the paint comes out of it. Next part, I'm going to take off this here. Oh wow, this is really tight. All right. So when you push down the button, it pushes this down, which releases the air. So I'll give you an example of this by connecting it to the air line. And then I'm going to turn on. All right. Then if I push this down, like that. So when you push it down, that's what releases the air. Make sure that doesn't fall off. I don't want to lose the little tiny O-ring. Put that back by the other pieces. Next, we can just actually take this button out, because it's the needle that holds it in. It goes to this little groove, and the needle holds it in. So you can take that off. I'll take this very tip off, not the needles out. I don't have to worry about bending the needle. There's actually 2 pieces that I'm taking off right here. If you see that, can take that off. Got the 2 little tiny pieces. And then I can also, I'm going to remove this. Oh, well, the camera's going all weird there. All right. So then this needle goes through here. And then the spring for when you pull it back, that's spring loaded. It's not a super tough string. I don't want to get that stuck on the needle. All right, I can take this out. And then this is what basically pushes it back. Now that is a completely deconstructed airbrush right here. How many pieces do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 pieces of this airbrush. There's more, I just don't want to completely dismantle this thing. So now I'm going to put it back together and basically show you how to adjust the needle. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this. And I'm going to put the spring back on. And then I'm going to put this piece on. This basically holds it on. There we go. Now, this piece here is the little lever. Make sure when you're putting it on, if you see that little dent in the back, make sure that's facing toward the back of the airbrush. So you can just take this. There you go. If you can kind of see, actually, it moves this piece back, which moves the needle back. Now I'm going to put this back on the front. Then this little tiny piece. All right, next we take this little piece and run it through very carefully. All right, so you want to push it all the way to the end until you can't get to go anymore, but don't really force it, and then just kind of like take it out so it's not, it doesn't really get stuck, but just lightly tap it till it gets as far as possible, but not so it's like tight. And you're gonna want to take this little piece back here and just gently run that over. Put on just a little bit and then readjust that to make sure the little nut didn't move it at all. There, and then if you do this, boom. Oh, actually, we missed one piece. So actually, I think it was like 13 pieces, including this. Let me just put this back on. All right. Now I'll put this back on. Make sure, because if you see that hole in the middle there, make sure that lines up with the little brass tube. And put this back on. And put this on. Just make sure it's kind of nice and tight. That one's really tight. I don't know why, so I got to kind of force it a little bit, but that is a fully reconstructed airbrush. And to show you that it still works, I got right here my airline. There you go. We'll bring it back up to about 60 psi, which is pretty high. Don't really do that when you airbrush, but there we go. So that is basically how an airbrush works and basically what's inside of an airbrush. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all next time.